Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Teachers of Tomorrow podcast, your one-stop shop for all things education here on Pippa Passes. I'm your host, Jordan Horn.
And I'm Garrett Reynolds.
And we're joined by our special guest.
Greetings. My name is Logan Smith. I am a KEA mentor teacher and currently a student teacher for Logan College's spring semester 2024. Happy to be here.
We're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Thank you.
So, let's start off. Where are you from?
Well, thank you for asking. Let's see. I was actually born in South Williamson, but I lived in Hardy, Kentucky my whole life. It's a part of the Belfry area.
Yeah.
And so I went there my whole life for education-wise. I went to Southside Elementary, which is now retitled to Belfry Elementary.
Yeah.
And then I went to Belfry Middle School before I transferred to Belfry High School. And then once I graduated from there, I moved to Logan College during the fall semester of 2019. So I've been here a very, very long time. Had I decided to take another semester, I would have been here a full 5 years, but as it currently stands, this will be my final semester here, and not counting the time of this podcast released, this marks my final 3 weeks here at Dallas Lloyd, and I've really enjoyed my time here. I've met many good people, many great mentors, and I'm happy to see the future of education is resting safely in people like you guys. So,
Well, thank you.
No problem.
But no, that's really cool that you're from Belfry. That's where my memo's from.
Oh, really? What's her name?
Her name's Sharon.
Ooh, Sharon.
Yeah. But, okay, so, you are a teacher.
You know.
You're ready to become one.
Yep.
What are you specializing in?
Well, right now I am a elementary ed major. I specialize in pre-K up to grade 5, potentially grade 6, depending on the area we live in. Mm-hmm. But I also have a certification for special education, which I am waiting to come in on. I've recently taken the Praxis 5543 test, and it will be giving me my score in about 1 week from now, on the 19th. So once I have that exam score in, I will be a certified special education teacher from anywhere from pre-K up to high school level. So really excited about that because special education, it's always been something that I've grown up seeing around my area. I've seen plenty of people, including family, who have been diagnosed with things related to IEP and 504 service plans. So I was always interested from the get-go. It wasn't until junior year when we had Danny May Paul come in, and he really opened the light, and I was like, you know what, I feel like this is a path I safely can say I want to go down. And I want to see where I can go and how I can explore my teaching skills with this. And ever since then, with the help of Dion Bates and other wonderful instructors, I feel perfectly comfortable saying that I am ready to tackle whatever may come in the future for any subject area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling us what that test is? You said the name of it, but do you mind explaining for the layman what it is?
You're fine. So, the test is the Praxis 5543 test. Mm-hmm. I could be misnaming the number, but it's basically special education common knowledge skills.
Okay.
What it boils down to is testing what you know about the history of the special education services, such as court cases, layers of IEP plans, how would you handle students with this disability in this situation, how would you exactly provide accommodations, modifications if you were in like a co-teaching environment, stuff like that. It also has a very, very long running time, as I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
It was 2 hours long, which is about average for any Praxis test, but the first half is mainly 90 multiple choice questions, and it's an hour and a half long, give or take. Mm-hmm. But if you finish early, you'll have a half hour for multiple open response, basically.
Yeah.
And that boils down to basically however much time you got, and it's not too bad, because the teachers we have here, they do very well in helping us instruct how to incorporate these kind of services into our lessons. Like a big help that's been a great asset, really, is when our lesson plan, it has this little thing at the bottom, and it says, how to incorporate for so and so. And even before I enrolled in Danny May Paul's class, I had my professors like Dr. Sloan, Dr. Hare, Dr. Ringel. They would always like bring up the implication of like, okay, so if you were to have a student with some type of disability or any other student who may be like an outlier in the class, say an English language learner, or a student who may not exactly be like emotionally responsive, how would you like accommodate for them? And I would think, well, I would try to do this, this, and this. And so with the test, getting back to that, that's basically what it is. The more you study special education services here at Alice Lloyd, and you do more research into it, because there are plenty of resources online that can help you really get to know these sort of terms and laws to protect the rights to people who deserve them. It really just boils down to how much you're able to retain and apply that to actual teaching positions. And I feel like with how I've been in the past few years, I am very, very comfortable in saying, yeah, I think I can handle this.
Good. You seem very passionate about it. So
Yeah.
I am like, oh, no, you go on.
Oh no.
No, well, when I was a little boy, I basically had a speech problem. I couldn't articulate right, and even now I still have my brief lapses when I'm very nervous. And so, seeing stuff like that, having grown up experiencing that kind of struggle, and the steps that many wonderful people in my hometown who worked with me, and how exactly I could like improve off of that, I think that was actually my introduction to the special education services. It wasn't like anything too elaborate. It was basically like a pull-out system where they would take me out a half hour of the day during learning time. They would sit down and they would just try to like teach me in various methods how to articulate better. And I feel like it's been a great success. And even now, as I grow older, I have actually used one or two of those techniques for a class of mine not too long ago with a student who had that same problem. He could articulate his R's right, so I just recalled what I did back in the day, and I did it to him. And although I was not able to see his full performance because I had to leave due to my days running out, I could see like a slow but gradual growth in like his performance. Like he was more confident in speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, stuff like that, that's what makes me want to try to help these kids, because every child deserves a right to have a free and public education, no matter who you are. That is why we have rights, and that is why I became a teacher, because no matter who you are, no matter what people may say, you are a student, and I plan on teaching you the same as everyone else. And that's just like a general philosophy I think every teacher should have.
That's very
Yeah,
fair.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, what you said actually brought back a couple memories for me. I remember back when I was like in elementary school, like 4th, 3rd grade, I had a lot of trouble reading. Like not my comprehension, but in terms of how long it would take me to read was well below what it should have been at that grade level. So I had a lot of really good one-on-one interactions with teachers who were able to like step in and help me. And it really is like with special education, like you were talking about. We went into it with the last episode with Sydney. It's a really important issue that a lot of times with public education, we don't have the funds nor the people passionate enough about it to do something meaningful, and that causes these children it causes their education to fall behind.
Yeah, they fall behind, they fall beneath the cracks, and sorry to cut you off, but that's
you're all good.
That's something that Sydney has been a big advocate for. She is a wonderful lady, and she's the one responsible for pretty much all KEA events here at Alice Lloyd. And I've actually learned from her just as I have from any other professor. And she is right. There are times where students who have these sort of disabilities, or even like be little setbacks, they just sometimes they aren't able to catch up and they slowly fall behind despite the better intentions of like those around them.
Yeah.
And so I think in modern times, with like how inclusive we're becoming, like society in general, I feel like we are starting to look at a new golden age for education.
Yeah. No, I'm really hoping, because it really is sad to think about all the students who are so close to being able to do well in school, but then the public school system just doesn't see that and they ignore them.
Yes.
They let them fall behind. And that's a lot of progress that in like that student that the school system is just kind of stifling and not capitalizing on.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, it could also be a result of like too many people to like really focus on that one who needs it.
Yeah.
And it's a tragedy for sure. It will happen, but now we have a chance to like actually point out who that kid is, and we can finally grab him and like pull them in before like they're lost to the tide.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a really important thing. Garrett, you have any specific thoughts on it?
Not really. I've never really. My school had special education and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about going to speech therapy, that actually brought up back a few memories. As a kid, I had a lot of trouble making my TH sounds, and I do remember a couple of times every week, some of my teachers would pull me back and send me to speech therapy classes, and I do remember those helping me a lot. But that was mostly throughout kindergarten and first grade, so I don't really have too many memories of it.
No, it's good.
But you talking about speech therapy did kind of bring those memories back to me.
No, good. And see, it's good that they were able to catch you at that age, because the earliest stage of molding, honestly, the most important stage of molding a child to see what kind of learner they'll become, is those ages, elementary, kindergarten, and first grade, up to about second grade potentially. That's when you need to like get them in and make sure that you have like a clear path for them, because if you don't, the more time passes, the more untreated their symptoms may go.
Yeah.
And we don't want to like risk that happening to jeopardize their future, whatever it may be.
Yeah. If you can help at that time, it's always best to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. A couple other questions would be, what's your experience at Alice Lloyd here been like?
My time at Alice Lloyd has been interesting, to say the least. I came here the fall of 2019. That was the fall before COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
And going into my time here, it was a strange culture shock, because I came from a very rough and tough town where everybody knew each other, and that's not to say people around here don't know each other, but they were more like blunt about what they had to say. So I grew up hearing stuff like you probably wouldn't catch around this kind of environment. It was still good. Like it's a lovely town, Belfry.
Yeah.
But coming from like that part to here, where it's more quiet, where it's more isolated in the mountains, it just kind of felt kind of claustrophobic at first. But then I got introduced to like the people at the ed department, like Dr. Katrina Sloan, Dr. Samantha Ringle, Sherry Watts, who's like our education secretary, the keeper of the paperwork, as she calls herself. Like
she's the go-to guide. You need something? Okay, she's sending you down the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's basically like what's his name? She's the Gandalf to like our fellow.
Yeah.
Without her, we'd probably be lost in that ice storm.
Yeah.
But no, like without people like them. Oh, and Steve Hare, you can't forget.
You can't forget Dr.
Steve Hare is the best. But people like them, they kind of saw me and they like slowly started to bring me out of like this little, I don't know, I guess you could say funk I was in. Like I just couldn't really talk to anybody. But once I started interacting with them, once I started going to the ed department, I started meeting more people. And eventually those people turned out to be the people I'm with right now in our student teacher group this year.
Yeah.
And also last semester, but I took an extra semester out because I wanted to do a special education certification.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told, well, you would have to do an extra semester for that. And I'm like, that's okay. I'm fine with taking it.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I actually wanted to be a high school level teacher. Yes. How it went is I was very, very impressed with a English teacher from where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And I really admired her for it. She was a freshman teacher of mine called Kelly Mahan. Very sweet lady. and she just made me fall in love with like reading in general. Not to say that I wasn't already, but I just adored the way she taught, the way she structured her lessons, the way she treated everybody, the way she was in general. I felt motivated by her. But then, as I got out to teach in high school, I started to realize, yeah, this kind of ain't working out for me. Like, they were more, I won't say like difficult. That's too demeaning. It's more like I wasn't really connecting with them, because I still had like that young student vibe to me that they didn't really click with, and I personally felt like I wasn't really trying my best with them. But when I went to the elementary school where I'm from, Southside, now Belfry Elementary, of course, I went into this third grade classroom, and I just felt like really like connected there. I don't know what it was, but I went in there one day, and I came out thinking, this is what I want to do. This is the place I belong. And it's just like one of those spur of the moment things, like, this is what my life's going to be, and I'm perfectly fine with that, because I feel like these children are the most important ones to really focus on. Anyone from like middle school and high school, yes, you can help them, but there's a small part of them that's already set in their ways. But with elementary school kids, or students, I mean, they're more approachable. You can tell them anything they want to hear without having that kind of backlash. They're unbiased. They're objective to whatever you're saying. Like, they're just listening to you like a sponge.
Yeah.
They absorb any information you may give them, and that's important in someone in our field, because we have to be like these idols that the kids need. Because sometimes there will be those who don't really have that person to look up to.
Yeah.
Whether for any specific reasons, which I will not get into. But teachers as a whole need to be an idol for all kids. So long as there's a teacher out there who is willing to sit down and listen to whatever any student has to say, no matter how young, how old they are, that right there shows you've done your job. You are making an impact in this world on somebody's life.
Yeah. See, that's how I feel too. With elementary, like, they're a lot less combative than middle school and high schoolers, which, as someone who plans to teach high school English, a little, I won't say I'm nervous, but that is something I'm not sure I'm prepared to kind of combat yet.
It's okay. Like, everybody's going to be nervous. Even now, student teaching, I'm in a kindergarten class. I still feel like I'm unsure of what I'm doing half the time in there. And that's generally because I am still new at this. I haven't had the experience that my co-teacher has. She is wonderful. She's been at this for 20 years. She was also an Owlswood alumni. And she said, your first few years, you're going to be uncertain of like what you're doing, but eventually you'll hit that groove. When you do, it's all over from there. Like, you will just be ready to take on whatever comes your way. And I feel like that comes naturally in any field, whatever it may be. Whether it's medical, accounting, etc.
Yeah.
You're always you're always going to be unsure of what you're going to do. But there will come a time and a place where you will wake up one day and you'll be going through the motions, and then suddenly you'll realize, oh, I've done this, and I didn't really question myself. I think this is it. I think I've done it. I've hit my peak.
Yeah. Kind of. Sorry.
No, you go on.
Okay.
You go on.
Kind of a moment where, like, almost like Jiminy Cricket.
Exactly.
And you finally stops, like, talking in your head.
You're able to do it on your own, and it's an empowering feeling for anybody.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Because self-doubt really can be your biggest... There's the old quote of, you're your own worst enemy, and a lot of times that's the case, because your mind can play a lot of tricks on you. Am I good enough? Am I doing this right?
Sophomore year, that was my biggest issue, especially since that was the COVID season, and it was already draining enough. But going to that, my doubts of whether or not I wanted to continue education in general, because at that time I was dealing with a lot of emotional problems, and I wasn't sure if I was cut out for this. But then I went into that practicum the following winter, and once I did, honestly, it was just like, it was like a light switch. It was gone, and even though I may have moments of where I'm like unsure of like how to handle this certain scenario, I will never say, "Oh no, I never took the wrong path going down the field of education. I have made the right call, and I am fine with where I'm at."
It's good. It's really good. So, what would you say are some improvements that Owlswood can make?
For all the good it's done for me, depends on what you mean by improvements to Alice Lloyd.
However you'd like to take the question.
I guess you could say I kind of want to see a little bit more rewards to educators. We recently came from Honors Day, and I was proud of that because I saw a lot of people in my student teaching group and some young blood like Garrett here, and even you, Jordan. You guys won awards, maybe not in education per se for you.
I think mine might have been. I haven't been able to look over the fine details
It's
yet.
okay, but either way, when you guys won your awards, I was proud because I was like, oh yes, this is what I want to see. More educators getting a win. And I'm thinking that because we have such a limited range of like awards like give to people like us. We've worked hard for the past 4 to 5 years, depending on how long you've been here, in trying to earn our diplomas and earning our field of work. And it feels a little sad to see such recognition for it, because one of the big things Alice Lloyd advocates is a high credence towards education. It is put on a pedestal here. Any teacher who's come from Alice Lloyd, I personally met several of them from my hometown before I came here, and they're all just wonderful teachers. They're capable of instructing, holding class attention, and delivering content in a way that like keeps everyone engaged. But it's terrible to think that for all that, they don't really get much credit that they should. And I would honestly like to see a bit more recognition in that field, because we're actually having a Honors Day award ceremony for our education field sometime soon. And it's like a little tassel award ceremony, and I feel like something like that should be made more public to have everyone realize that these guys are the result of like what we've done for our students, to show how exactly we raised them, how we taught them, and now they're about to go out there and do the same to some other child in the world. And point B, it also helps that one student in the crowd who's unsure of like what field they want to go in. If they see like the hard work and recognition that someone like us could do, they might think, you know what, I can do this. And it doesn't even have to be like an education thing. Just like seeing the result of all that hard work pay off. It would just like give them that inspiration to like continue doing their best.
It's empowering.
Exactly. Like it goes back to the eureka moment. Having that moment where you just realize this is what I want to do. That's an empowering moment. That's something everybody can relate to, no matter who you are. And I know for a fact, recently we've had some extra awards. The KEA awards that you guys received in your Honors Day this past Tuesday. What it is, that was actually an addition, because when I was your age, when I went to my first Honors Day, we never had those awards. It was just scholarships, and that was it. Which wasn't a bad thing, because they were also important, but KEA, it's a core tenet of the ed department now, and I'm so glad, because now we're all connected and we're able to have more free range to like bounce off each other, as opposed to like how it was back in the day, because there was that disconnect between freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors. I put that primarily on COVID, because it pretty much ruined any relationships we could have potentially started that year. But having those KEA events and seeing them pay off in an award ceremony like Honors Day, it really makes you think that every little thing you do around here, especially in our community, and putting in that dedication to like actually making sure Alice Lloyd is put on the map for everyone to acknowledge.
Yeah.
That's something we need to see more of. I want to see people be engaged in the community and get a reward from it. Not just hard work. That is a good thing. However,
Yeah.
I want to see guys like you in the future. When I check back on you in 3 years, I want to see how you got an award in community planning, in leadership. Just little things like that to really make education feel especially important around here.
Yeah. You mentioned how KEA helps a lot. I really feel like it really does allow us to have that common and streamlined goal. Like, as it's not just, oh, we're this grade level, we're these people. It's, we're educators. We need to work together and do this. It's, we are all going to be teachers. We're all going to be in this field. We need to work together on that. And it really is something that, it makes it feel more like a home.
Exactly.
And I really enjoyed it.
I agree. And Garrett here has especially earned my respect because I've never met a freshman who was able to gain such a high credit for KEA in the 1 year they've been here, especially since we started implementing this literally my junior year, so 2 years ago. But in the year you've been here, you've garnered such a reputation that has everybody talking praise about you, and that makes me so happy, because if you can do it, that means there are more kids like you out there who can come in and they can be as responsible, as important as you are to this community right now. So I want to thank you for your hard work first.
Yeah, no, Gary. I'm also really proud of you. I believe you deserve a bit of a round of applause.
Yes, sir.
Well, this interview was supposed to be about you, but
I'm not important. I'm kind of boring, but it is what it is.
I feel like a big part of it, though, is kind of a role that you kind of played in it, because I don't know if we've really mentioned it yet, but you are a member of the mentorship program with KEA, and you were actually my mentor.
Yes, I remember.
So if anything, I feel like a lot of praise should go to you, because you were the one who really showed me the ropes during my first semester.
Yeah, I'm too modest to boast.
I'm tearing up.
But really, don't worry about it. I believe in you. But the mentorship thing is very interesting because you bring that up, because that's something we've been meaning to get off the table for a very, very long time. This was actually going back to when I was a sophomore. Our first KEA event, before KEA was actually officialized, we wanted to do a mentorship thing with the juniors and sophomores, juniors and seniors, and the sophomores and freshmen of that time. And like I said, there was that disconnect. I was becoming a sophomore at that time, and the juniors of when I was a freshman, they were seniors, and so forth, with the sophomores at that time being juniors. So we were able to communicate more with the juniors that year, but the seniors, well, they were gone. Like, they just up and left. Not actually, like, they didn't just drop out of the college or anything. No. They were more focused on getting ready for student teaching, which is a very important thing. But it also kind of hurts because I cannot say, truthfully, there are many people from that class I can say were as impactful as the people in my class now, in the junior class when I was a sophomore, and even you guys. I cannot for the life of me think of a name. It may come to me tonight, but honestly, I really can't. There could be one or two. I think I take that back. There's one teacher who was actually a senior when I was a sophomore. She is actually my neighbor now, in not actual neighbor, but more like in the classrooms.
Yeah.
Because I'm up at Jones Fork Elementary right now, and she is my neighboring teacher, and I see the hard work she puts in every day, and it just makes me happy to see, like, even now, it's inspiring me. Even after that disconnect, she's still able to hold her place as an educator in the field. And back to the KEA, I trailed off for a minute.
No, see, that's encouraged.
See, I love the people who come out of our department, because each one of them has a unique perspective to the field they can offer. No matter what it is, And I feel like that should be the same for any other place. But for here especially, with KEA, we're able to bounce off of each other. And we're able to really get a feel of like how exactly we think. And if we see something that is a great idea, we'll be like, oh my god, we can incorporate this. This is a great idea because we've done that before with our lesson plans. We had an original format which was good, but we had a student revise the whole thing top to bottom. And once they got it, they were like, this is perfect. And that's what we've been going off of these past several years. This is what you guys have been going off of, or will be next year. Okay. So KEA, it's stuff like that that makes me proud to say I'm glad I came to the school and I was able to meet these people.
Yeah.
Because even if I have my moments of where I'm like, ugh, the world, it sucks. I want to throw hands with somebody. At the end of the day, I'm not going to do that because I'm satisfied with where I'm at. And I'm especially proud to see how you guys are doing and where you're going to go.
Well, I appreciate that. And you should be proud of where you're at.
Yeah.
You too, guys. You too.
You talked a bit about the mentorship program. What was it like being a mentor?
It was very interesting, to say the least. Like I said, we tried to get it off, but due to scheduling issues, we never really had that chance. And so it was actually this past year we were finally able to get it off the ground, and I think it's been a huge success. Like Garrett said, that's how I met him, and I was able to impart more of my own perspective to someone who's coming in. And I know that there are other people who have been in my group. And, sorry, shut off for a minute. Hold on.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah, hold on.
The refreshing.
Exact. Caffeine.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
For legal reasons, we are not sponsored by Coca-Cola.
No.
If we could get that Coca-Cola money, Alice would be very happy.
For real. But no, honestly, my only advertisement, teachers, this is what keeps you going.
Caffeine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Caffeine. Coke, Pepsi, coffee, doesn't matter.
I get my caffeine the way God intended, with a hearty cup of morning coffee.
Exactly.
Me too, when my Keurig pod doesn't explode like it did the other morning. Still need to clean that.
It's okay.
But no, getting back to the idea of the mentorship program.
Yes.
Do you feel there's anything that the ed department could do to kind of help that concept grow? Like any work that it might need?
Off the top of my head, not really. Like I said, I was able to meet young minds like Garrett here, and even our cameraman who was off screen.
Say hi, Nathan.
Hello, Nathan. Yes, Mr. Nathan here. He and several others I've met, and they've been wonderful to work with, and it's encouraging to see there are young, bright minds who are eager to learn. If I were to give any kind of critiques or anything, I kind of want to see like more sessions with the mentorship program. Like maybe try to do like some K8 workshops where we can have a meet the tutor thing. We go around, we experience like rotating centers, and we see how each tutor is, and have them get a feel on it. It could even have somebody who's like not really vibing right with their current mentor.
Yeah.
They can be like, well, I would like to switch to this one. Nothing too bad, but
yeah.
No, you're fine. I ramble. That's my biggest problem.
Continue.
But no, that's basically like it goes back to what I was saying about perspective. Going around having you guys meet the mentors, it gives you that perspective because you can find out there are more than like one way of implementing any type of life skill, basically, no matter what it is. And really, I encourage it because it could honestly be something that you're looking for, and it can be something that can forge friendships for like a long time.
Yeah.
And it's happened.
See, my only issue really with the mentorship program from last semester was I didn't really get that much time with my mentor specifically, which that wasn't like her fault or anything.
No,
It was
you're fine.
just kind of scheduling issues. Didn't
Yeah.
allow. I think we got to have maybe 1 or 2 group meetings, and then like 1 or so like one-on-one meetings.
Yes.
But it didn't really get capitalized on as much as I kind of wish.
I can see where you're coming from, because that's also another thing that they've been trying to do, because we try to pair up a senior with a freshman, but sometimes that doesn't always work because the senior's usually getting ready for student teaching
Yeah.
or some other crazy business, while the freshmen, they have so much free time on their hand that they're kind of just sitting around bored. And I think we've begun to incorporate junior mentors, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, junior level mentors, which can be beneficial because I feel like they are also capable of like implementing what our professors have taught them to like these undergrad freshmen.
Yeah.
And really, that's why I want to see like more KA workshops where you can incorporate the mentorship into those meetings. Like what I said with the Beat the Tutor thing. If we can do that, I feel like we would have a higher turnout for the mentorship program, and it could even like, build more bridges between other mentors you can go to, not just the one, so that you don't have to like feel like you're overcrowding them or they feel overcrowded and so forth.
Yeah. See, I think Dr. Ringel might even, for this coming semester, be allowing sophomore mentors, because I think
Interesting.
me and Garrett applied for the Manatee
Excellent.
program.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I really want to be able to, as a freshman
Mhm.
who came in, it was really kind of scatterbrained, like, okay,
Yeah,
where am
it-
I? What do I need to do? And I want to be able to be, like, see someone who's in that position where I was a year ago. And look at them and be like, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. I'll help you out. And just be able to
Yeah.
help guide them. That way they have that weight kind of off their back.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and for-
no, you
Oh,
go
sorry.
on. No. You go on. You go on.
For me especially, I feel like the mentorship program really helped because I've mentioned it before, but I was homeschooled throughout pretty much all of high school. So it's been a long time since I've really been back in like a school structure. And so just having someone who already kind of knew the ropes kind of guide me through everything, and then all the additional stuff of being part of KEA, all the education classes, it just felt really good just having someone that I could call if I ever needed help or just to guide me through the college and everything.
It's that positive support system that we've been trying to build these past few years. Because ever since COVID, a lot of things have taken a bit of a dip around here emotionally. Things are not really bitter per se, but you can see more people are tired, they're more fatigued. And our campus tries their best to like host these big events, but I feel like having something more grounded, more small scale to like what we do with KEA, I feel like that's more important.
It's more personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It makes you feel like you're in a family, like you're actually home, instead of like another school. And that's like a big strength that KEA has.
Yeah, no, ALC really is. That's one of the biggest strengths and one of the reasons I love it here
Mhm.
is because it really does feel like a family
Mhm.
a lot of the time. Like, it feels like, I talked about this a bit when we were talking with Sydney, but like, so many other colleges, so many students in the classroom, like 100 or over. And then you come here and you get to not be a number in a classroom. You get to be someone who the teacher will be like, you're so-and-so. I know this about you. I've had you in this class. Whereas you could have like a teacher at another college for multiple years.
Everybody.
And they not know your name.
Exactly. Everybody knows everybody. And that goes back to what I was saying about the culture shock, because I came from Belfry. And when I said it was like a little bit of a rough town, it was more so like everyone was kind of disconnected. We had multiple hollers, multiple neighborhoods, entire blocks separated by the mountains. But here where everything's like so isolated, although that's a bit challenging at first, once you find like the people here, you'll start to like resonate with them, and you'll actually like start to like put yourself out there more, because these people are what make up this community. It isn't just the reputation the college has.
Yeah.
It's the ones who go into putting forth that good word.
It's the people that make the campus.
Exactly. Like Carlos.
Yeah.
I love Carlos.
God, everybody loves Carlos.
Yeah.
Even Carlos.
So a question that just popped into my head.
Yes.
You were a workhead,
Yes.
janitorial. What was that like?
Ooh. Ooh.
Because as someone who worked janitorial, not under you, there were a couple issues going around with.
I got you.
Speaking of, I don't know if this has ever been mentioned, but Alice Lloyd is a work-study college.
Yes.
I just don't know if we've ever actually mentioned that before,
Yeah.
so I figured we should just give some context on it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, gentlemen.
I feel like the work study aspect really does go, like, it does a lot. Like, it isn't really talked about as much, like, in terms of its effect. But when you look at the, like, who has a job after they graduate, I think it was in Dr. Hare's class last semester. He pointed out, like, the rate in which, you know, people who go to ALC have a job after they get out. And a lot of that is due to the fact that while working in ALC, it shows that initiative. Whereas at another college, someone might be doing good in school, they get out into the world of work and pursuing that field, and then they kind of just stifle because they don't want to do the work.
Exactly.
But with ALC, you that's instilled in you, and it brings that out in you, and you're like, okay, I gotta do this. Whereas other colleges, that part of you might just go to the background and not come back out.
Yes.
Back to you.
Going off of that, the work study application, it is a good way to present yourself to the workforce, because you go through all this paperwork to like get actually registered for work study and other stuff, and it gets you prepared for like working a 9-to-5 job, whatever it may be. It could even be longer, shorter, whatever, but it gives you like that feeling of what you want to do in a job and how you're going to do it. It prepares you for the mental strength that you're going to need to working those long hours, to working that hard labor. And when it comes to janitorial workhead, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. My crew was great. I loved each and every one of them.
Yeah.
Wherever they may be now, but I just did it for one semester because I just wanted to try it out. If you told me to do it like a year ago, and I had that experience, it just ain't for me.
Yeah.
I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy, and I'm not opposed to taking up leadership roles here and there, but with the workhead positions, you have to account for every student working under your command. And sometimes that can be a bit draining, because you will have those who are sports players go off in the middle of the night training, and you can't really have a way to contact them because they're out training. So you have to pick up the slack where they falter. And I feel like that's something the boys' dorm, since that's where I presided with, one thing that we had in mind was to try and have everybody collaborate and like help out on each floor. And I never got to do it myself. I can never find the workhead, but I feel like stuff like that, it ties back to what I said about this place being a community. If somebody needs help, well, all you just have to do is find that right guy, and boom, your problems, they can be solved just by working together like that.
Yeah. But no, that question just popped into my head, and I felt like it was a good conversation to have.
It was good.
So,
don't worry.
Let's see. What would you say your experience in the education program has been?
Oh, now that's a wonderful question. See, I love the education program. I love everybody who's in there. The professors, the students, even, well, I can't say the janitors because they're not part of the program, but still. Well, not like janitorial, more like the janitors who work in the building. Regardless, ignoring that tangent, basically, my time in the education field has been wonderful. I've met plenty of great mentors. I've mentioned them already, but without them, I don't know where I would be. I would be lost. I'd be on a boat without a paddle, and if it wasn't for them giving me like that support I needed, giving me the right kind of instruction, I probably would have just switched majors long ago and be okay with it. But now, I'm glad I'm an educator, because the work they put into making sure I am successful, that's what I want to do with my students. So long as there's that student willing to try, so long as there's any student in general, I will give them my 100% and make sure that they are included and make sure without a doubt that they will have the same rights that everyone does to a free public education. And I feel like that's something everybody here can agree with.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it hasn't always been easy. I am a bit of a procrastinator. In recent years, I've managed to stifle that a bit, but in my early days, I was really bad off for doing that. And it took a lot of sitting down and harsh words, but eventually they got through my head like, you need to like actually buckle down. And you need to like start making commitments if this is what you want to do. And I thought long and hard about it, and I was like, they're right. Like, I can't afford to like mess around this close to the finish line. I need to actually put forth my A game. I can't just like, go through with it like any other Gen A class. No, this is something that has to be done, and that's the same for any class that you're going into a field for.
Yeah.
And let's see. I honestly have nothing but praise for the people here at Alice Lloyd who are educators. And I have nothing but praise for those who have come out of Alice Lloyd, alumni who are educators. You know who you are. You know what you had to do to get here. I'm in your position too, and I'm almost there with you. I cannot wait to say that I am one of you guys, and I am proud to say that I am now a teacher who can make this world a little bit better in my own way. And one day, you guys will too. I know you will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I mean that for anybody out there watching this. If you are working, no matter what field you're in, you will always make the world a better place by making someone's day better. And that's what life's all about. The little things, the things that really matter, are what you can do to basically make sure that somewhere out there, life is going well for this person because of the hard work you put in for them. Whether it's a student, whether it's a patient, whether it's a person coming to you for any menial task. So long as you show that dedication, you will accomplish that feeling.
Well said, man. Well said.
Thank you.
I can't remember. I know you touched on it a bit, but what would you say was the reason, the moment you knew you wanted to be a teacher?
That was when I was in Belfast Elementary, third grade classroom. I believe the teacher's name was Miss Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there, and I was still unsure of what I wanted to do with life. I was thinking about switching to business major because my family has always said you should take like an undergrad in business, and I was like, well, I'll think about it, but I was kind of flip-flopping back and forth. But it was when I was in that classroom, there was this little girl. She came up to me and she said, "Hi," and I was like, "Hello, how are you?" She was like, "Good. Guess what? What is it?" "I got an iPad for Christmas." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's sweet. I'm happy to hear that for you." She was like, "Thank you," and she just skipped away. And
yeah,
it's what I say. That little comment to brighten up someone's day, just the way she smiled at me, it filled my heart with like a warmness that I can't describe.
Yeah.
And it's when I realized this is it. This is what I want to do. And ever since then, every kid who smiles at me, based on like some way I can help them, it just motivates me to like keep trying, no matter how hard life can get, because life will get hard.
Yeah.
You'll hit your roadblocks, but you'll always find a way to overcome them in your own unique way. And you should never be down on yourself just for being any different from, I don't know, if I'm comparing myself to you, I shouldn't beat myself down. Neither should you for like whatever we do differently with like how we overcome challenges.
Yeah.
It's that unique perspective I was talking about. We have our way of doing things, and there's nothing wrong with that. And going out into the field of education, if I can make that one child feel that way, then I've done my job, and I'm satisfied with that.
No, it really can't be overstated how much sometimes, like, you're having a bad day, making someone smile, laugh. It makes you feel good.
It does.
Like,
It does.
The emotions are really powerful.
They are.
And they come in a weird way. Like,
children are easily able to spot out emotions just like that.
Yeah.
They're in tune better than any adult our age.
Yeah.
They're more...
And
they're not afflicted with, like, the nature of the world, the cynicism.
Mm-hmm.
They're still innocent. They have a widest perspective on things we can never do.
And also they have the bluntness to just say what they're thinking. Whereas a lot of times, like...
We just hold back.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to, like, speak our true thoughts. But the children...
They don't see a problem with it.
No, they just think it's natural. And you have to admire them for, like, what they say.
Yeah. No. Children are the most honest people.
They really are. They really are.
Yeah.
But, you want to go over the article a bit?
Okay, so we were just wanting to talk about this article we found. It's called All About Teacher Observations and How to Get Them Right.
Okay.
We're not really going to quote the article word for word. We more so just want to talk about, like, different kinds of teacher observations.
Mm-hmm.
So, first off, do you have any experience having an observation done in a classroom?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Plenty of times has Dr. Sloan come into my classroom. Plenty of times I have been terrified of being observed by her. But in terms of, like, how it's done, they don't try to control you. They take their time. They're like a spectator in the back of the room, and they just observe you. They see what you do with the students you're in, what kind of techniques you teach them, what strategies they're able to retain and implement it on their own work. That's what they want to see. If your teaching is able to resonate well with a kid, enough to, like, make them retain that information to actually put it to good use, rather than, like, copy down words on notepad, throw it away, never look at it again, stuff like that. And with Dr. Sloan specifically, she is blunt, she can be harsh, but that's perfect, because that's what we need with our observations.
Honesty.
We need to know our strengths, our weaknesses, and how we can improve from there. I even want to go as far as to say we should have the co-teacher or even our mentor teacher at the time collaborate with our professors and, like, hammer out what exactly we hit right with each box or what we didn't, and just see, like, how both sides can improve from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because observation, it's the most important part of, like, any, and I mean any class you're going to have. Whether it's practicum, whether it's student teaching, so forth. When you have your professor out there in the field, they're not instructing you anymore. To them, you are the instructor. They want to know what you have to teach them. And that's what it all boils down to.
Okay. No, that's a really good perspective that I haven't really thought about much yet. What would you say are some tips for observation?
Dr. Sloan always advises us to have our lesson plans ready 2 to 3 days in advance. So that's a good tip I would recommend. Another one, don't be afraid to, like, use any resources at your disposal. We have a little curriculum center, and it's a multitude of things to have us teach about pretty much any subject in general. Math, English, science, whatever. There are hundreds of books out there that can help you find a way to, like, really implement or teach the lesson that you're trying to do in a way that's, like, not too, enforceful upon them. Another big thing is collaboration, not just with your professor on, like, feedback, but also your mentor teacher. If you do not have a good relationship with your mentor teacher, you are not going to do well in a work environment, because you need to know how to collaborate with others before you have the chance to really work on your own. And that's what they're trying to prep you for. If you can't handle the stress of working with others, then you're just not going to do well out there in the workforce.
How has your experience with your mentor teacher been?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Each one I have, they have their own unique way of teaching things. And I've learned a little bit from each and every one of them. No matter how trying it can get at times, I can truly say I've learned something from so and so, and this is my way of doing it.
Has there been any specific like kind of disconnect? Like they do things like they're very set in their ways of doing things one way, and you always prefer to do things another way.
Yes, and you will encounter that out there in the field. There will always be a teacher who is set in their ways, whether it's from long, long ago or even stuff as far back as 5 years ago that recent studies have shown can be improved upon or not as improved upon, and go off of that. You will have that encounter. And what we can do is basically try to find ways to talk it out. Find that medium to really just break down what they want to do and how what you want to do. How can they get together without overstepping one's boundaries on either side?
Yeah.
And it's a tough challenge because you'll feel like you don't want to overstep boundaries, like I said. But at the same time, you are being prepared for teaching. You need to be ready to give your own thoughts on what you think is good, what you think is not really sufficient enough to be taught, my bad, and how exactly you would want to teach them.
Yeah. Like if you can't really be honest with your mentor teacher, I guess you can't really be honest with yourself about what you want in this situation.
Exactly. I agree 100%. If you are not honest with your mentor teacher, you are pretty much setting yourself up for failure because you never had that chance to speak your thoughts.
Yeah.
And when you're actually ready to teach by yourself, you're going to be questioning yourself all the time because when you look back on it, what experiences you have with your mentor teachers are ones that you don't really agree with, and you're just stuck without trying to figure out how you can go off of that because you really have no real positive experiences with it. So that's a big thing I advocate for: communication on both sides.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, I can't think of anything else to ask. Garrett, do you have anything else?
No, I think we've about covered everything.
Okay.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you. You've given us a lot of insight. At least me, I feel like.
Definitely.
Well, thank you. Listen, like I said, you guys are the future of this college. In 3 weeks' time, whenever this airs, I will be gone. I may never see you guys again, and I'm saddened by that thought, but the work I've seen all of you put in, no matter how small you may think it is, how little it may do in the grand scheme of things, every step counts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel comfortable leaving this place knowing that education here at Alice Lloyd, we're set. We're ready to teach beyond our little community. We're ready to go beyond Kentucky itself. And that's my thoughts.
Well, in that case, thank you.
Thank you.
And if I don't have anything else to say, you don't have anything else to say, and you don't, I guess that calls this episode. And guys, that's a wrap. Have a good day.
Take it easy.